If I was a betting man, I would say we are live.
We are.
Okay, good.
I can't get the volume on my phone to stay off. It
Oh.
keeps coming back on.
Just turn your phone off.
Then how am I going to watch the feed? You can't always kill two birds with one stone.
Okay.
Okay.
I miss having our music.
I do too, because it let me know.
It lets you know like when it's over the speakers. It like lets you know when you're on the about to go. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks, broadcasting from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 FM. In addition to listening to us on the radio, you can check out our Facebook live stream at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, or you can download the Radio Lex app on your smartphone device to listen anywhere in the entire world. Amber Turner is with me, as she is always. We are social distancing, as we are always, seems like. Amber is
I know.
I'm at mine. It is May the 7th, House Arrest Series, Volume 7. And Amber, how are you?
It's a very cold day, so I'm actually not doing really good today. I hate this weather.
I think it's actually pretty. Now, Tuesday it was very cold. Now, I think that this past weekend, or this coming weekend for Mother's Day, we're supposed to get, they're saying, record temperatures in May.
Well, but we're calling for frost through the rest of the week and weekend, so maybe we're getting conflicting weather reports.
It's a weird world.
It is a weird world.
It's a weird world that we're living in. I'm telling you that. But last week, I went over some phases that Andy Bashir has. What did I call him? Andy Bashir?
Andy Bashir? I understood you, so.
Andy Bashir has released his phase plan with how he is going to reopen the state. Now, we are currently in phase 1 of that. And I went over phase 1 a couple of weeks ago on the show, but I really wasn't specific with what businesses were open and the dates that the businesses were opening. And the reason for that is because I didn't know what the businesses were, and I didn't have the dates, but now I have them right in front of me. So Andy Bashir outlined specific dates when businesses can open. That will begin on May the 11th. So finally, we're starting to see some things open up. Now, what can open up exactly? Well, they say that on May the 11th, things like manufacturing and construction can open back up. But I've been seeing that anyway. Haven't you, Amber? Haven't you been driving by and seeing construction?
Yeah, I think maybe they're talking about like manufacturing as far. I think Toyota, because I know Toyota has been shut down now for a while. So I think like those bigger manufacturing plants that did shut down to do precautions,
they're opening back up. Okay, so car dealerships can open back up, so you can go, you can buy you a car. I don't see why they're opening that back up. I don't know why that's so important. I'm telling you what, I would rather somebody punch me in the face than me have to deal with buying a car. I hate going to car dealers. It's like a bunch of little lizards just sitting out there, just waiting to pounce on you to sell you a car. It's like, let me just, because have you ever noticed, have you ever went in to go get a car? You have a specific color in mind. You have a specific idea of what kind of car you want to buy.
Yeah, but you're not leaving with that.
No, you're not leaving with that. It doesn't matter. You're not leaving with the color you intended. You're not leaving with the even the type of vehicle. You
might not even be living with the make and model you even originally wanted. You might be in another brand.
You go in wanting a Toyota Tacoma. You come out driving a Volvo, just a small little Volvo car. And I'm like, how did that even happen? It's because these car dealers, they're not really worried about you personally. They're worried about that sale. So
yeah.
So
it happens every time.
But nothing against car dealers. I'm sure they're, as far as personal, they're all probably wonderful human beings. It's just I don't like going to buy a car. But you can go buy a car on starting on May the 11th. Again, you can go in person and buy one if you want. Also opening up on May the 11th, professional services, they say. Now, what are professional services?
I was going to say, what does that mean?
That's things like lawyers, accountants, architects, IT consultants, veterinarians. If you want to take your dogs to get groomed.
Okay.
Yeah, they can go.
So things that I need. Okay. That's going to be on the 11th.
May the 20th May the 20th is the next big date for things opening up.
Okay.
On May the 20th, non-essential retail stores and houses of worship.
Oh, non-essential retail stores like, I don't know, maybe our favorite store, Old Navy.
Yeah, just go ahead and put it out there that I shop at Old Navy.
Adam's favorite store is Old Navy.
I do enjoy Old Navy. Old Navy is that one place that you can still look a little bit fashionable, and it's very affordable.
Very affordable.
Yeah, so you can go and walk around. I just look forward to the days that you can walk around again in stores like that. But houses of worship, they open up, thank God, because I'm telling you what, you weren't going to be able to hold the Christians down much longer.
No.
Because Christians find creative ways to worship. You're not going to keep them out of church for too long. If you keep them out any more longer, actually, I would like to see the governor keep people out of church just a little bit longer so I can see what kind of creativity that these church members will do to worship.
Don't you dare wish that upon us. Quit that.
On May the 25th, that's the next big day. That is when social gatherings of up to 10 people will be allowed.
Wait, does that mean that I can see you on May the 25th?
Now, I'm hoping that the studio, WLXU, is going to open back up because, there's really not more than 10 people at a time in the studio.
True.
So I don't see why that might not be a possibility. So, but regardless, we can get together and see each other. But
maybe
I think
we'll have an off-the-cuff special.
We can't embrace each other, though, with a hug and like we want to. We still have to maintain a level of social distance because the governor said we're not going to see the old normal. We're going to see a new normal. When all of these dates do come about and all of these things do happen, we are going to see a different normal.
Yeah, I mean, that's expected, though.
Okay, on May the 25th, there's some more things opening up.
Okay.
Well, I'm talking about May the 25th. I said social gatherings of up to 10 people. Also, barbers, salons, cosmetology businesses, and similar services. So I'm hoping massage therapists are going to open up.
There we go.
Because my massage therapist, I've missed her. She is.
Well, you know where I'll be. I'll be getting my nails done and getting a massage on the 25th. All on the 25th. I'm going to be unavailable all day.
Not in phase one. Restaurants, gyms, movie theaters, campgrounds, youth sports, public schools, daycares, and summer camps will have to wait at least till phase two. Now, I will go ahead and tell you, Andy Beshear has said that swimming pools are not going to open probably in he says it will not open in phase one or phase two. Mayor Linda Gorton of Lexington said that she's not opening up public schools, period, this summer. And I think a lot of other governors are going to follow suit. Amber, That's a sad day because I couldn't imagine, and I guess we're going to have to now imagine what summer is going to be like without a pool.
Well, you said that Christians will get inventive. I like to think that maybe us true summer lovers will get inventive as well. So I foresee an inflatable pool in my backyard.
All these things that make the summer, though, these swimming pools and summer camps and summer youth sports, though, that has summer written all over it. And
Oh,
those
yeah.
things aren't happening anymore. You talk about a lame summer 2020, it's going to be pretty lame.
I think people are going to get inventive. I think people have been cooped up so long. And I think that, we've seen how people have adjusted, like just with homeschooling. I feel like people have made that kind of a fun thing for the kids. And I think we're going to see a lot of that follow into the summer. So I'm looking forward to like some creative things.
So there you go, folks. That is everything opening in phase one. I just pretty much laid out the specifics of what phase one looks like. We are currently in phase one, and that is thanks to our testing going where we have testing centers in different locations in the state. I think in order to keep moving to different phases, Bashir is really putting emphasis on the vaccine.
I think the big thing was we want to make sure that we're not seeing significant increases in diagnosed cases. I think that's one of the things that can bump us out of moving on to a different phase. And then another thing was just making sure that we had availability for PPE just in our hospitals and our people who are working the front line. So I think as long as we see numbers kind of staying, I think that we had some heavier numbers earlier in the week on Monday and Tuesday. But I think as long as we see numbers kind of where they are now, we should be able, hopefully, to progress.
Absolutely. That means that there should not be, if there's no spike in cases, that means that we will proceed on to different phases. But we're currently in phase one, and let's just keep our hopes up. Summer usually gets off to a big start. Summer is here when the Kentucky Derby rolls around. Unfortunately, because of COVID-19, the Kentucky Derby was not canceled, but it was postponed until September the 5th. But last weekend, we were supposed to see the Kentucky Derby, and I love the Kentucky Derby. It's an event that the whole world talks about, and it's centered right here in Kentucky. Do you know the last time, Amber, that the Kentucky Derby wasn't on the original day that it was supposed to be on, which was the first Saturday of May? It's been 75 years, but can you tell me why it was postponed or canceled?
Wasn't it? I don't know.
It is because in 1945, the U.S. government had put a temporary ban on horse racing because of World War II. So we have had the Kentucky Derby every year since then. Every year on the first Saturday in May, we have had the Kentucky Derby. This year, we do not.
Hopefully, though, when we do get to have it in September, we can have a huge party.
I mean, that should just go ahead and tell you how major this is. We are literally living through a history class. We're living this. We're living history right now. And if this COVID-19 hasn't hit you yet of how serious it is, I mean, the Kentucky Derby being canceled for the first time since the World War II, I mean, that's a pretty major thing.
Oh, yeah.
But
definitely.
I couldn't imagine the money that they lost out on, but we're just going to have to wait. Thank God it's not been canceled. It's been postponed.
Postponed. I like postponed.
Exactly. Well, folks, before we take our first commercial break, I want to remind everybody that if you haven't got your 2020 census in, you need to get that in, the 2020 census. That comes around every 10 years. It's that little card that you get in the mail, and you got to fill it out, or you can go online and you can fill out your census. And the census is just a couple questions asking you general information about your household and your income. And that's supposed to help with some statistical information in America. I'm not really sure on the specifics of that, but
allocation of funds to the county, the city, the schooling system.
But there you go. And Amber, I'm hoping that you have got your census done, because they were encouraging people to have it done by April the 1st.
Oh, yes. Got online, took us about 10 minutes to do it, and it was done.
So make sure that you do get that census in. It is important, and it is required. I think a lot of people think that it's not required, that it's a voluntary thing. It's absolutely not.
No, it is definitely required by law.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got lots more off the cuff coming up after these words. Stick with us. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got. Why is it doing that?
I don't know. I give up on technology. I'm gonna just go back to an old rotary phone. Got to call me on that.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Amber is also with me at her house via Zoom. I am at mine. We are social distancing. This is House Arrest Volume 7. We've been doing this for 7 weeks. Hard to believe it's been 7 weeks we've been doing this. I'm feeling every second of it.
I'm sure it's not because you miss me, though.
It is. That's a big part of it. Amber, I was talking about on the last segment, the Kentucky Derby being postponed. We didn't get to have Kentucky Derby. Something that we also got to miss out celebrating, at least going out in public and celebrating, was Cinco de Mayo, which was on the 5th of May. And that's a holiday celebrated by mostly Americans. It's not even celebrated by people in Mexico hardly.
Well, I mean, what can I say? We love beer and tacos. So what better day to celebrate on?
Leave it to Americans to take a holiday that has nothing to do with us and use it as a day to drink. It's like St. Patty's Day. It has nothing to do with us.
No.
And I think Americans celebrate that more than any other holiday. It's just like Cinco de Mayo. But Cinco de Mayo, if you guys are wondering what Cinco de Mayo is, that is the Cinco, which is uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, the 5th day of May. And it's a holiday that celebrates the day of the Mexican army's victory over France at the Battle of Puebla during the France-Mexican War. So that right there has nothing to do with the United States of America. So we use that as a day to eat cheese dip, drink Corona beer, and maybe not Corona beer, but
I did. You know I do.
Exactly. But
we celebrated Cinco de Mayo good this year. We got food, we had a beer.
You know that's affected these Mexican restaurants though.
Oh goodness, I hope. I don't know though. I mean,
they usually stay busy regardless.
It was pretty bumping. Not only on Cinco de Mayo, but every day that we went, that we ordered food. So I don't know. I think maybe it might have worked out good for them.
I would say it really hurt them because this might be an unpopular opinion, but Mexican takeout food is trash. I hate it. I cannot stand to have Mexican food takeout. And to me, really, the only good food to eat takeout is pasta.
No.
Yes, because you can heat it up and it's still just as good.
I disagree with you on the Mexican food. You can't take it home and wait hours to eat it. You need to eat it, within like the hour of getting it. And it's just as good as sitting at a table.
But a lot of people, if they did want to eat at their favorite Mexican restaurant, they had to order out. A lot of people are stuck indoors still, even though we are in phase 1 and we are seeing some progression. There are still a lot of people stuck indoors, which is causing a lot of people to go stir crazy. And it brings me to this story that I saw, Amber, that I want to discuss with you. I don't know if you saw it, but I talked about how people being stuck at home, it could cause your relationship to grow further apart or you could grow closer. Well, a New York City woman stabbed her roommate, allegedly for her roommate telling her that she needed to chill out on her drinking, that she was drinking too much. So the victim who got stabbed claims that she just told her roommate that she just acknowledged that she was worried about her since the quarantine, that her drinking got a little out of hand.
Yeah.
And one night her friend was intoxicated. She confronted her friend about it. And then she proceeded to stab her friend over and over and over and over in the stomach, in the shoulder, in the back, in the side, all throughout her body. She luckily got away. And she was bleeding profusely. She got a hold of the phone. She called 911, and it come to find out that her friend was blitzed out of her mind. Didn't even realize what she did till after she did it. I saw that, and it just go ahead and reiterates the fact that I hate alcohol just so much. I think that that's the most dangerous drug in the entire world. I think
It
that
is.
alcohol is more dangerous than heroin. It's more dangerous than methamphetamine. It's more dangerous than crack. Alcohol is the most dangerous drug. Not to get religious on you, but the Bible only warns us about one drug. The Lord only talks about one drug in the Bible, and that's alcohol. So, and it's so easy accessible. And the alcohol, the liquor stores, they've stayed opened during this quarantine. And it's interesting because that means that that's probably the biggest drug of choice for people right now because it's so easy accessible. People can easily get a hold of it.
Yep, that's the thing about it. People like the ease of being able to get it.
And what this drug does to people. I saw one story. I don't think we talked about it on this show. This one guy killed his best friend and his girlfriend because they were trying to take his keys from him to keep him from driving home. You talk about somebody who woke up the next day and regretted what he did because he murdered his girlfriend and his best friend for that.
That's insane. Like,
shot him both in the head.
There should never be anything in this world that would ever make you want to hurt another human being. And I hate that as humans, we don't have self-control at all over ourselves. Alcohol can be fun if used in moderation, like everything, moderation. But I mean, dealing with alcoholism, I guess, is never an easy thing. But when you hear these outcomes like this, like, it just makes you wonder, like, why do we not have some type of limitation that we place on purchasing of alcohol freely? If we're going to limit it in the bars, like, hey, I see you're drunk, why can I not tell you when you come into my store as a merchant, hey man, I think you've had too many, let's put that back?
And you hear about this New York City woman, you hear about her killing her roommate, and you know she didn't intend. She didn't wake up that morning to kill her roommate. So it was obviously an act of rage, and it was something she did when she was not sober, and alcohol caused her to do this. I talked about that one guy killing his best friend and his girlfriend for trying to take his keys from him. Alcohol is doing this stuff to people, and still yet nothing gets done about it.
No, because it's
wide
legal.
open.
It's legal. Yeah. So we don't need to moderate it. We don't need to have any type of regulations on it because it's legal. We can do whatever we want with it. No, we can't.
Yeah.
This is what happens. And people think, oh, that's a one-off story. It's not a one-off story. Read the news. This happens every day in every state.
I haven't heard of anybody murdering their girlfriend or boyfriend or their spouse after smoking a doobie. But
I have to agree with you.
That's another story.
Maybe they ate all their Cheetos. I can get down with that. But not murdering.
I heard a federal judge one time say that. Now this is a federal judge, and he said alcohol or weed makes you do three things. It makes you hungry, happy, and sleepy. And he banged his gavel and he let the person go. You can't say the same thing for alcohol. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take off the cuff song of the week break, roll down them windows, enjoy that beautiful weather because we're not going to have many more beautiful days. I say that like we're not going to have many more beautiful days ahead, like it's not the summer. We're not going to have any more beautiful days ahead of us these next couple of days. It's going to be cold this weekend. So enjoy what we got today, roll down them windows, enjoy the weather, and enjoy off the cuffs song of the week break. Amber, you want to take a wild guess on what it is?
I have no clue.
It's a Spoon song. It's called Can I Sit Down With You? Boy, Don't you want to do that with somebody at this point? Sit down with somebody?
Maybe not right now. Maybe in a few weeks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the song. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Amber is also with me. That was Off the Cuff's Song of the Week, Spoon. It's indie music. Whenever I hear indie music, I just want to roll down the windows and be driving near a beach or in a grassy field somewhere.
Okay, those are two very different locations.
Amber, so much has changed because of COVID-19. So many things has changed our lives. A lot of people have contracted this virus. A lot of notable people have contracted this virus. I've been wanting to get somebody with the virus to come on off the cuff and talk about their experience with it. I want them to share their symptoms. I want them to share their story with our listeners. So if our listeners know anyone who has COVID-19 or knows anybody who has it and would like to come on off the cuff, give them off the cuff's contact information and tell them to reach out to me because I would like to talk with them. But a lot of notable people have had it, Amber. It's not just your everyday average Joe. A lot of notable celebrities have gotten it too. As a matter of fact, I've got a list of celebrities that you might know of, Amber, that have contracted this virus.
Okay, let's hear them.
Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson.
Okay.
I think that was probably one of the most popular ones.
Yeah.
Andy Cohen, which is a radio host on Sirius XM.
Mhm.
Chris Cuomo, which is the CNN news anchor.
Okay.
Pink. DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Wait, what?
Yeah, DJ Jazzy Jeff
Okay.
contracted it. Now he's better.
Okay.
David Bryan, he was the keyboard player for Bon Jovi. Von Miller, he is an NFL star that contracted. Amber's looking at me like she has no idea who I'm talking about.
I have no idea who that is. I thought I was supposed to know
James
these.
Dolan, who is the owner of the New York Knicks, he contracted it. So it knows no pocketbook. It knows no purse or billfold or bank account. Rudy Gobert, the NBA player, who you remember him. He's the guy who kind of triggered this whole panic because he was the NBA player who jokingly touched the microphones.
Is he from the Utah Jazz?
Yes.
Okay.
After they said he had coronavirus, he was like, oh, well, better not touch these microphones. And he started touching them. Donovan Mitchell, another NBA Utah Jazz player, has it. Christian Wood is a Detroit Piston forward. And 4 players from the Brooklyn Nets got it too. Joe Diffie got it. And unfortunately, he passed away from it. So, Amber, not a lot of it's not just your average Joe. A lot of notable people get it too.
Oh yeah.
People
like you said, it knows no pocketbook, it knows no status.
People from the royal family got this.
Yes.
People from the royal family. And you talk about people who probably have access to the cleanest air in the world.
I don't know about that.
Still contracted it.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take another break, and we got lots more off the cuff coming at you right after these words. Stick with us. Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks with you. Amber is also with me via Zoom. She is at her house. I'm at mine. We are social distancing. This is House Arrest, Volume 7. 2020 has been one for the books. Just when you think the coronavirus is starting to die down, now we hear something called murder hornets coming to the United States. I saw a meme online, and it was of Dr. Evil, and who was that one woman that was his assistant?
Frau Farbiskina or something like that.
Frau. And it was like, it had Dr. Evil saying, oh, coronavirus is starting to wear down. Send out the killer hornets. And then it's got Fran going, send out the killer hornets.
I love that part in the movie because what is it? It's send out the sharks and send out the laser beam sharks.
Asian giant hornets, which researchers have nicknamed murder hornets, have been spotted in Washington state. Their venomous sting can kill humans if they are stung multiple times. The hornets are also strong enough to puncture a beekeeper's suit. Amber, have you ever been stung by a bee before?
Yes, several times.
Have you ever been stung by a hornet before?
I have been stung by a hornet to the point that I still have a scar, and I was about 6 years old when that happened.
That is a painful experience, getting stung by a bee. It's like literally somebody takes a needle and they just stab it in your arm with no remorse.
A hot needle,
and it makes your blood warm. It literally just you feel it all over your body when you get stung.
Oh, it hurts, and you instantly start to feel swelling, at the puncture site.
Well, you feel swelling, yes, at the puncture site. You feel odd because your body has just been injected with poison. It's been injected with a bee sting. You know how, that's not clean. It's going to get infected. That's why it hurts. That's why it swells. It's not good to be stung anyway. So when you take somebody that is allergic to bees in general, because people that are allergic to bees in general, this sounds terrifying because, well, this is terrifying for all of us because it's saying that it can kill anybody.
They're saying multiple stings on a human body, and I take multiple to be like 2 to 3, which can easily happen at one time, that it could be lethal. And I was like,
what is going on here?
Somebody posted a meme that said we're in the 5th stage of Jumanji. So I'm ready to stop playing this game now if we can.
It says the hornets are more than 2 inches long and have reportedly been attacking beehives in Washington state. Scientists do not know yet how they made it into the United States. The hornets were first spotted in Washington state back in December, and scientists believe they started becoming active again last month. Let me just tell you this. A lot of the things, a lot of people, when they see a bee and a bee gets around them, what's the first thing they want to do? They want to start swatting. Don't do that. That's the absolute worst thing you can do. You're going to freak the bee out. You're going to scare the bee, and it's going to sting you because the bee has went into protective mode for itself to protect itself, because you swatting, the bee is taking that as you trying to hurt it, which is what you're really trying to do. So the bee is going to sting you. So as scary as it may seem, if a bee gets around you, just be as still as possible. Don't try to move because you're just going to make the bee mad.
I just thinking about like just sitting still when a bee's around me though almost gives me chills. I couldn't do that. If murder hornets come to Kentucky, they'll get me.
I had a cousin one time when we were younger. She got stung in the mouth because a wasp crawled into her Coca-Cola can and she didn't know it. And when she took a drink of her Coke, now you imagine that, thinking you're about to drink a nice big tasty ice cold pop, and all of a sudden you take a drink of it, a swig, and a wasp sticks its needle right in your tongue. That's what happened to her.
I would never drink pop again.
Since then, that traumatized me because I saw it happen. And now in the summertime, I can't leave a pop unattended because I'm thinking a wasp is going to get down in it.
No, and usually like when I go to the pool and stuff, I always get things that have like screw-on caps because of that. Just that perpetual fear of something crawling in it.
Do you call wasps or waspers?
Waspers. Look at all them waspers.
Where does that even come from? Because when I was growing up, that's what my family called it. So I grew up thinking that's really what it was called until I was one day talking to someone. I think it was in school. I think it was at Moorhead. I was talking to somebody about waspers, and they said, "What?" I said, "Waspers." And they didn't know what I was talking about. And they said, "I don't know what a wasper is."
It's a wasper, buddy.
A wasper
is a wasper.
It's not a word. It's not a real word.
Well,
I don't know where that come from. I don't know why people from Eastern Kentucky call it wasper, because it's not called a wasper.
Well, I will continue to call it a wasper. And if you don't know what it means when I say it, looks like you're the unlucky one that's going to get stung.
I've been stung by wasps. I've been stung by hornets. I've been stung by yellow jackets. I don't know which one hurts the worst. I think they all have their own level of pain. Yellow jackets have their own pain. So does hornets, and so does wasps.
But have you ever been bit by like a horse fly or a sweat fly or a sweat bee?
Yeah, those are the aggravating stings.
That hurts on a different level.
Yeah, and they can get you in the finger too.
Oh yes, mine was always like on my shoulders and like on my back because I would try to swat them off.
Yeah, don't swat. Like when you swat a bee, you're doing nothing but making them want to stick their needle in your skin.
That's why I said if murder hornets come to Kentucky, I'm out.
I'm going to sting you with my stinger. I'm going to sting you. Amber, since the quarantine, I've been watching that Last Dance documentary, the documentary about Michael Jordan. I think it's the most fabulous thing on television that I've seen in a while.
You've raved so much about this, I'm going to have to watch it.
Oh, it's so great. Every episode covers some major topic. And I've talked on, since The Last Dance premiered, I've talked about it in some shape, form, or fashion on the show. And that's what I'm going to do right now. On last Monday, it covered two things, episode 6 and episode 7. Episode 6 covered Air Jordans.
Okay.
And it talked about just the evolution of the Air Jordans. And then episode 8 talked about Jordan's gambling addiction. I loved episode 7 when it talked about the Air Jordans because I had a pair of Air Jordans. I think that every boy had a pair of Air Jordans in the 90s. And it was the shoe to have. And it's still to this day, Jordans are the shoe to have. And Jordan hasn't played basketball in 20 years. And he still has the most popular sneaker in the entire world. What do you owe it for it to be like that still?
I think just because he really was the greatest of all time. And at that time, he really kind of got involved with youth. I mean, when you think back, I mean, yeah, Michael Jordan is a basketball star, but when I think Michael Jordan, you know what I think? I think all the Hanes commercials. He was all through my childhood.
Yes.
And we have Space Jam. So you've got the best basketball player of all time. Now he has this great shoe that everybody wants, and he's on Space Jam. That's why.
Well, everybody wanted to be like Mike. And one way to be like Mike is to wear the shoes that Mike wears. And people thought that if they could just wear the shoes that he wore, maybe they could play a little bit like him. And it was interesting because Jordan was playing in one of the finals and in one of his mini championship games, and he was wearing his original Air Jordans, and he said they were so uncomfortable that his feet were bleeding by the end of the game.
No.
He couldn't take them off because that's bad marketing. That you changed your Air Jordans because they were uncomfortable. But after that, he knew that he needed to change the comfort of his shoe level, because if it's too uncomfortable for Jordan to wear, he's not going to promote it, put his name on it. So now Air Jordans are the shoe to play basketball in. They are very comfortable, and he did change. But Air Jordan, he can die today, and they can never show another basketball game of him again, and his legend will still live on because of his shoe. The most popular shoe brand outside of a normal sporting brand of all time, Air Jordan.
I agree. 100% with you.
Yes. And that iconic symbol of Air Jordan floating in the air, it's just fascinating to hear about one human being accomplishing that. And it was so, I love hearing stories of when things like that begin, something so successful, how it begins. Did you know that he did not want anything to do with Nike? When he
really?
Yes. So they wanted to do a shoe deal with Michael Jordan. Somebody did.
Okay.
He wanted to do a shoe deal with Adidas. He loved Adidas. Adidas wasn't interested. Reebok was the official shoe of the NBA. Reebok wasn't interested in just giving one player a shoe deal. Nike said, "We'll do it. We want you." Jordan didn't want anything to do with Nike. His mother told him to get on a plane and at least go meet with them to see what they have to say. He did, and the rest is history.
Do you think if he would have went with one of the other brands, the shoe would have been as successful?
Maybe. I don't know. It's argued that Michael Jordan saved Nike. It's argued that Michael Jordan is the reason Nike is what it is today. So maybe it depends. If Nike didn't secure Jordan, they might have been in trouble, and not the other way around where Jordan might have not been successful. I think Jordan would have made any brand successful that he went to, because there was no star on the planet bigger, and they talked about it. Some could argue Madonna, some could argue Michael Jackson, but by the time that Michael Jordan played overseas in the All-Star Olympics, it was argued that Michael Jordan was the most popular man in the entire world.
I think we could probably agree with that.
Yeah. It was the first time that the Olympics were played in that America had a basketball team So the 1992 All-Star Olympics was, well, I shouldn't say it was I might have to fact check myself on that. I don't know if that was the first Olympic team, but it was
maybe the first like hugely notable because it is one that everybody knows about.
The Dream Team. It had Magic. Yeah. It had Scotty. It had Michael Jordan. It just had the best of the best on there. Not Isaiah Thomas, because Jordan wasn't a fan of him. But the episode 8 also talked about Jordan's gambling problem. And I found that particularly fascinating because it's hard to find anything dirty on Michael Jordan. And people were really trying to find something dirty on Michael because he was squeaky clean. He had that squeaky clean image. Even thinking back on Michael Jordan, Amber, can you think of any scandals?
No, I really can't. And honestly, I didn't even know he really had a gambling addiction until you just told me just then. Now, I mean, that might be known within, the sports world, but just being someone who is kind of just general population, I honestly didn't know he had any issues.
That was really his biggest scandal. And I think that people just said he had a gambling addiction because they wanted something to talk about. They needed to have some dirt. So they took a few little things and they ran with it. I know one time Jordan said he needed to get out of town because you got to think Jordan is the most recognizable man on the planet. So that gets exhausting.
Oh yeah, very.
We don't know what that's like. So he wanted to get out of town and he went to a casino. Hey, yeah. I feel him. I would have done the same thing. I'm a casino guy. He went and he stayed for a couple hours with his dad. Well,
I don't see anything wrong with that.
It was before a big game. That was before a playoff game in the finals. But he said it
doesn't matter to us what he does.
Hey, and it didn't affect him on the court the next day, by the way.
No.
But you know what they did? They ran with that and they said, oh, well, he must have an addiction. He must have a problem if he can't go a night without it. So
I don't think that was him not going a night without it. That was probably him just trying to chill before a big game.
And just like we talked about with Dennis Rodman, if you are still going out on the court and performing, who cares what you do in your private life?
Exactly.
You're there to play basketball. And that's the one thing I love about Michael Jordan. He didn't get into this for anything else other than basketball. The movie roles came to him. The shoe deal came to him. The clothing came to him. All Michael wanted to do was basketball. That's all he cared about, and that's why he excelled.
Exactly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our last break, and we'll be right back with our last segment here on Off the Cuff. Stick with us. Ready? Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff, last segment of the hour. Adam Banks here with you. Amber is also with me, joining me via Zoom. She is at her house. I'm at mine. We are social distancing. This is House Arrest Volume 7. Mother's Day is right around the corner. It is this Sunday. It's a very sad Mother's Day because a lot of people aren't able to go and see their mothers. I still haven't decided what I'm doing. I'm at a point right now to where I don't know what to do. I want to see my mom really bad. I don't get to see her often, but I still don't know if it's the right time to get around her right now, Amber.
Well, and I really think you're the only person that can make that decision, I hate that a lot of people feel like that right now, and they're very torn on what they should do. And I know that, missing one Mother's Day, with your family or one holiday to some people, seems like a sacrifice that needs to be made. And at the end of the day, it does. But then, I feel bad for those people that, what about if this was the last Mother's Day they could have with their mother and they were forced to stay away from them? So I think it's just one of those things that you have to kind of err on your own caution.
Exactly. Are people allowed to comment on the show thread?
Yeah.
Okay. Not very active today.
I know. We're not seeing much today.
Not a very active show thread on at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. But Mother's Day, I'm curious as to what people are going to do virtually for their mother. I guess you could always do a Zoom hangouts. You could maybe have dinner with them over Zoom. You could play games with them over Zoom. You could, the internet's trying to give ideas. You could walk through a garden and plant stuff, and it's like all kinds of weird virtual things you can do with your mom. I don't know. My mom is telling me to come see her. She wants me to see her, but that's just my mom being my mom. I don't know. I would probably get shunned by somebody.
Well, then they can shun away, because if you want to go see your mother on Mother's Day, as long as you take universal precautions, stay your 6 feet away, maybe go and just hang out on the porch.
Yeah. That's true. You can always just hang out on the porch.
Yeah, just you sit on one side of the porch, she sit on the other.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we are out of time. You can follow the co-host, Amber Turner, at Ambu447 on all social media. You can follow me, Adam Banks, the host, at the Adam Banks on social media. You can follow Off the Cuff on Facebook at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. I don't know how many more weeks House Arrest series is going to happen. I am hoping that we will be back in the studio in June. I reached out to our station manager, and he is telling me that it's looking like we'll be back in the studio around June. So you'll have to get out of a
good date to me.
You'll have to get out of your moo-moo, Amber, and come
physically not in a moo-moo.
No, you look nice.
In a shirt.
You look very nice. I try to look nice too when I get on camera, because this, for some reason, this looks like a lot of light versus what the regular studio gives us.
Yeah, the regular studio is very dimly lit.
All right. Get that census filled out, ladies and gentlemen. Social distance and be safe, and have a great Mother's Day. That is Amber Turner. I'm Adam Banks, and this is Off the Cuff. We will see you next Thursday from 4 to 5. We'll catch you down the road.